Hi, welcome everybody. Felt inspired to do a tarot reading. This one's unique and I've never seen anyone do this before. But what's coming up is a tarot reading for when you need to make a decision. And so the card should never tell you what to do or determine your reality or get advice from them that you absolutely follow without fail. But like it can be helpful to get some insight and perspective when we pull some cards. And in particular, I'm going to do a reading where it's a situation where there's one of two options. You stay the course with what's happening, whether it's a relationship, a job, something of that nature, or you choose the rabbit and you surrender or let go and trust the universe that I'm going to let this go and see what comes instead. Or there's another option that you've been considering that you're going to jump towards. So, which is appropriate for the rabbit. So I invite you to pick. Again, this is for anybody that has to make a major decision in their life that revolves around staying the course or jumping into the unknown, or even if it is somewhat known, following that vein. And this could be, like I said, a relationship. This could be a work situation. This could be working with a coach, a therapist, any number of things where it's like, oh, should I stay with this? Is this just like a healing crisis? If it's a coach or a therapist or something, is it that's what's happening? I just need to keep pushing through a little further. Or is it like, no, this really isn't working and I'm gonna trust and follow my divine guidance? And you probably already know the answer if you really tune in, take a couple breaths, but this will be fun exploration too. So pick whichever card you want, the Pueo, the owl for staying the course, and the rabbit for jumping into the new unknown or not sure what's going to happen next kind of thing. And both of them are going to be unknown, right? This one definitely more a little bit of a leap of faith. So pick your deck and I'll be right back. Right. For the Pueo, the owl, stay in the course. And stick with this. To know any and all information, advice, guidance, potential outcomes, possibilities. And I'm going to use a Celtic Cross. I like doing that because it's just a really fun spread and it really kind of flushes out what is going on at multiple layers and levels. And when I do longer readings, it's my preferred way of really tuning in. So split the cards into three, 10 it 3 times. And again, holding that attention, see what's revealed. So the first card out of the deck, I always see the first card in a Celtic Cross as an energetic snapshot of what is currently happening. Like, what's the current situation? And with the Seven of Swords, I've always seen this card as like taking your power back. This is when things feel like all is lost, and yet there's a way we can recover and regain our footing and triumph in a situation that maybe feels frustrating or upsetting. So that's really interesting because with this pile, we were going with what if we stayed the course? And this is very much saying like there's an option here, there's an ability and an opportunity to take back what was lost or stolen, or like power, or it feels a bit like the mind because the swords represent thoughts. So or the mind in general, the air. And so it could be that, like reclaiming the mind, reclaiming the power and the decisiveness. Let's see what next card comes out. And so this is the subconscious, unconscious impulses, influences, things from the long past. But the Queen of Swords, again, with this sword energy of the quick thinking, sharp, analytical, but with it reversed, to me, it indicates this like lack of clarity of thought, lack of being able to trust the, I don't want to say intuition, but it feels like not being able to trust a decision because of like programming or trauma or lies. So the Queen of Swords upright is a truth speaker. She's clear, decisive, very intelligent. And then reversed, I see it as like this muddled, not quite clear or concise, where it could even be lies and certain level of deceit. And because it's in the subconscious or unconscious, it's just kind of revealing like why this is a challenge and why you'd even entertain this reading of watching, you know, pick a pile with making a decision when it's like this should be easy. But what often happens is when we've had trauma and situations in our life in the past, it clouds the current situation so that we don't really see clearly what's happening. And so it's helpful to get perspective. And that's exactly what we're doing with these cards is the cards always just offer perspective. Just like if you ask a friend or an expert or something, you don't have to take their advice. You just gain perspective, gain some more awareness and information. So this is interesting. This is just kind of highlighting why this may be challenging for you to try to determine. And so the next card is the recent past. What's led you to this current situation? And with the Magician there, this is really great. I mean, this is like you've been doing the work, you've been moving towards really like reclaiming that power. Like what you're doing now is you are reclaiming these thoughts and this mind that maybe was traumatized and hurt in the past. And now more and more you're getting more clarity and more rational understanding of situations and how to navigate them with a cunning, with the understanding, with the a level of almost, I don't want to say mastery, but like cultivations, because the Magician is also about like working with all the elements, you know, cultivating the body into a more perfected form. And that's why you see the garden all around here with the roses, and roses are supposedly hard to cultivate and grow and keep healthy. And there's such an abundance. This is somebody that's in a level of mastery. And in particular, the Magician is often associated with the intellect. So this is a great indication of the work you've already done, what's happening in relation to that. So the next card is going to represent the rational mind, the conscious mind, our hopes, dreams, desires. And so with the Six of Wands reversed, I'm seeing this as like premature endings, like loss of focus and drive. Like it feels like you've lost hope in this endeavor. Like you've been working at this for a while and collecting these parts of self or this thing you're trying to attain, whether it's trying to regain your clarity of thought and power or a certain position in a business or whatever it is, but there's still like more that doesn't feel complete. And it's always interesting too, like how he's not cutting himself with this. Like he's just kind of nonchalantly handling them. And to me, I never really paid too much attention to that till just now with the Chariot reverse. This is like the Six of Wands is like the lesser chariot, which is about like the victory and their arrival and the homecoming of returning hero. With it reversed, it's like, it doesn't feel like you've attained anything. It feels frustrating and questioning whether or not it's a good idea to keep going. Like, am I just wasting my time? And so this is all kind of where you're at right now. Like right now, the subconscious, the long ago, what you're dealing with to get to where you got. And this is how you got there with the Magician. And this is basically how you're feeling about it and what you can't see coming, basically. And so this is the card that'll help determine this spread and potentially the answer. And we still got a couple more to go, is what will occur in the next couple weeks. So the card in this position, the Ace of Cups, is really a beautiful card. This always reminds me of, your cup floweth over when that energy comes in from the divine and working with especially the emotions. It's really, I see this in relation to this reading as like pennies from heaven, like manna, like even the wafers, that they do in communion, like this representation of something given from the divine, where it's gonna be worthwhile. Like what I'm getting is worthwhile to stay with this. This isn't um, tragic or hopeless, but it may feel that way. It may feel like I'm going nowhere. But they're saying there's something to this. There is an energy coming in that this work will be helpful, and it feels like with working with bringing in the water, because there's a lot of air and fire, and even the magicians like air, intellect, more of an intellectual, and this is working with the emotion, and this is really going to help with that subconscious, because the subconscious is emotion. To have the Queen of Swords here in reverse for the subconscious is indicating a tendency to use the intellect, use rationality to be uh, more in the head than the heart, because the emotions were just too overwhelming. And this feels like working with those emotions in a positive way. So next card can represent the card action. And this is the Four of Cups reversed, which is interesting. We're following this cup theme. So I always see this as like, what is it that's being offered that we can't see, that's not clear, that would be really like what we desire, but we're just too distracted. And so let me just tune in what that represents as the card action for this. Because this is staying the course. So staying the course, the card of action is the Four of Cups reversed. They're having me focus on the person sitting here and off to the side. What is that? With the arms crossed, with like the excess sleeves. Man, this is a tough one. Let me get I need a clarifying card here, which is the King of Pentacles reversed. So this feels like it feels like lack of resources, or lack in some sense. Like this would work if you stay with it, but how are you going to pay for it? Or how are you going to work through the additional emotional challenges it brings up by staying with it? Because it looks like a bit of a financial drain, or not as lucrative as you may think it is to stay with it. Like there won't be the same, it won't be that financially secure is basically what I'm getting. So if this is the job or whatever, like it's not going to be what you hope it is by, financial security, or, it's a safe bet. It feels more like it's going to be unstable. And there's a word that comes to me. Just it's going to be unstable. And if this is, staying with a certain course of action with something you're already committed to, it feels like there's an instability with this. There's something that's not quite being seen or understood in some sense. And even though it's helpful and it is working with shifting these patterns, there's something that is off, and it's out of balance. So let's see what the next card is, because this represents the environment. So this would be the actual environment of the setting in which you're working, or this situation's happening. And with the Four of Swords, this is like the card of taking a reprieve, meditation, going within, getting quiet. And so it feels like whatever this is safe. It feels comfortable, and you can like rest there and feel loved and cared for. And there's not a whole lot of like comfort as far as like if you had the cups or something there, or even the wands, it feels just like the mind just like exhales, like, okay, okay, I can just let go and it'll be all right. I don't have to worry or think about anything right now, which is interesting. Let's see what the next card is the one that will really help reveal a lot is what is it we need to know about this situation. So with the Five of Pentacles, I mean, this is kind of similar to the Four of Cups is this, really like has a lot to do with perspective. I often see the Five of Pentacles as like we're battered, we're bruised, we're feeling, I get the word disenfranchised, which is interesting. I'll have to dive into that later. I'll look that up and throw it in there somewhere. But it feels like disenfranchised where, actually, let me pause this right now and look up the meaning of that. Okay, so disenfranchised, right or privilege. Yeah, so depriving someone of their rights, basically, that they had hard earned or that were supposedly guaranteed to them. So I'm seeing that. And then what you need to know is it feels like this isn't the best decision or option. As far as I'm reading the spread, it's like it feels like it's taking you as far as you can go. And there'll be like a certain level of comfort with it, but it's not really gonna get you where you want. It doesn't really feel like it's gonna be what you want. Like they're looking for what's right there. And this is why I say it's a card perception. Like they're cold, they're probably hungry, tired. I mean, they're all like beat up looking and in need of some care and rest. And, you know, a crypt, which is what this is, wouldn't really provide that. So that's an interesting clue too, because this was the environment in which this situation is. This would be with the Pentacles. This is like food. This is like the King of Pentacles upright. You know, there's going to be the food, there's going to be warmth, there's going to be this beautiful understanding of higher spiritual tenets. So they will take care of these people as if they are them, as if they are God's visiting, is one of the old sayings that when someone knocked at your door, you treat them as if they were a God visiting because they just might be one, and then you would be rewarded. But this has always felt like a church or some kind of sanctuary. And so in the old days, that's where people would go to get hope. And they're not seeing it and they're not really going to get it. So this is what we need to know is like, it feels like you're not going to get what you want from this, even though it's been helpful and it's gotten you to where a certain level, it's not going to get you much further is what I'm getting. And so let me pull the final card for the outcome or potential outcome. It's always important to say that because it's all potentials and possibilities. Yeah. And the Page of Swords reversed, I'm getting that there's just something that, you know, it's well-intended, whatever this is, has been beneficial and helpful. And if it's a relationship, you know, don't be cruel and harsh and curt with somebody, but like, it feels like you already know that this isn't working. Like there's been tests or red flags or things revealed that you're like, yeah, I don't really vibe this, whether it's the job or relationship, person you're going to work with or collaborate with. It's like something just isn't fully aligned and it's not a full fuck yeah. And if it was, this would be showing different. We'd have the King of Pentacles upright. This would be a totally different card. Same with this one. And what we need to know is right there. It's like, you know, what you want is not going to be presented in a way that you can attain it. So it's there, but this situation won't help you get there kind of thing is what I'm getting. So I would read this as, if you stay the course, it's going to be comfortable. It'll help you like feel a certain emotional safety, but it may not be as lucrative or as fulfilling as you hope. Like here's like, I wanted do this. I want to get my power back, or I want to have this experience, or I want to attain this thing, or whatever it is. You have this dream and this vision, and um, it's not going to feel, it doesn't feel like it would be fulfilled in this. So that's what the cards are saying, but you got to trust your own instincts. So I always recommend meditating for at least a half hour. First 20 minutes it takes just to like calm the mind down. In that last 10 minutes, all of a sudden, all this stuff is revealed. So before you make any decision, I'd recommend setting a timer and meditating for a half an hour, just focusing on the breath. Like, I'm not big on mantras, but like the breath is my mantra. So you breathe in for 5 seconds in through the nose, out for 5 seconds out through the nose or the mouth. And then you do it again. And then you let it go. And you do that for a half hour. You just keep coming back to that breath. And it's, if you never meditated before, start with 5 minutes, but play with coming into presence and asking the question. Ask the question before meditation, and then see what's revealed in meditation. And let me pull a portal card to help you with whatever you choose, knowing that you can't make a wrong decision, that everything is about experience, that God, the universe, the energy of all things values experience above all other things. So even if we think we made a wrong decision, that road we go down and what we experience is so valuable. And we can always pivot and change. So let me see what energy is going to come in and help you with this. Raven spirit, truth. So allowing the revealing of your deep inner truth of what's best for you. And I love the glow behind her, and with the raven looking right at her, and how she's looking like with, like the third eye, but also with the eyes of love, and curiosity. She doesn't think she knows what's happening. She's listening and paying attention and being receptive to what's coming through in every aspect of this, what she's perceiving. Like, she knows she can communicate with that raven by being curious, by being expansive in her gaze from a loving, open, receptive place. So play with that. Hopefully this was helpful. And if you want to switch over to the other reading, you can do that. And if none of this resonates, no worries. It's all good. Thank you so much. Aloha. All right, pile 2, the brave souls ready to let go and do something new. The rabbit there, and how he was sitting on here, it looked kind of like he was coming out of a portal or getting ready to go in a portal, which I love portals, because that's what we can do here. We can manifest and bring in the energies of any and all lifetime planets that we've lived on, that we've experienced. Anytime you had an amazing, beautiful experience, you remember that feeling, and you can bring it alive right here in this moment. And so that's what I work with people with, is first helping them regulate the nervous system with the breath, tuning into the emotions, calming the mind, and ultimately finding this level of mastery with remembering. Like, remembering the truth of your being and spirit, which is God, the energy of all things, essentially. Find that indestructible, invincible, all-knowing place. Life just gets easier, and we can trust, follow the guidance that happens in any now moment. And it's usually only in the moment. And we can drive ourselves crazy trying to figure out what's going to happen next. But that's the whole idea of faith, right? So I like to do the Celtic Cross. It's a really great way to get like a full energetic snapshot of what's happening at various levels and layers. And this was for letting go or choosing something different. And so the first card out of the deck, the Knight of Cups reversed. So this is interesting because Um, what I'm feeling, that I see this as like an energetic snapshot of where you're at right now as you embrace the idea of letting go, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's like a coach or a therapist or somebody you're working with. And what this brings up is, well, I don't know, like I feel like I've been moving towards something I love and appreciate. And what's going to happen if I stop? Because with the Knight of Cups is one who moves towards what they love and desire in a steady, clear way. And with the reversed, it's often, I would read this as, well, what am I going to do now? Like kind of a little bit of heartbreak in a way. And so let's see what the next card comes out as. And again, yeah, the Five of Cups for the subconscious or unconscious impulses around this is, it feels like a little bit like codependence or like a dependency where there's some fear of falling into a depression or a sadness, or I'm not going to have my emotional needs met is what it feels like. And this is a legitimate thing. Like every human will go through this when there's a change, when there's a shift, especially if we're letting go of something that we're going to potentially grieve in a little bit. And so I think this is perfectly normal as part of the letting go process, but we'll see what the cards reveal as we keep going. And next card in this position represents like what it took to get to where you are now. So the recent past, and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. I'm reading this as like there's a level of impatience and frustration, like wanting things to change quicker than they are, like wanting things to be a certain way. Like, why hasn't this manifested? Why isn't this happening? Because if it was upright, the Seven of Pentacles is like similar. You're waiting to reap the harvest, but when it's reversed, it's often like, well, what's all this time and effort been put into? It almost feels like, oh, did I fail? And everything, I'll pull one more card. Everything on this side is going to be kind of currently where we're at. And then we'll move into what this decision determines. And this is all just for perspective. You know, don't take this as the hand of God throwing down cards. All the cards can offer is perspective. And same with me or anybody. You're free to choose what you take in and what you run with. Nobody's here to convince you of anything. But what's interesting is it feels like there's just kind of this defeat, like to give up on this would be some kind of defeat. Let's see what the next card represents. Yeah, again, this is the conscious mind, the hopes, dreams, desires, like how we're thinking about this whole situation. The Seven of Swords, this is interesting because this came up in the other reading, but it was upright and it was in this position. And so this is how you're thinking and feeling about this. Like, oh, I'm giving up something that I need. Because the Seven of Swords, I've always seen it when it's upright as taking your power back, like getting your power back by any and all means necessary. Like you got to sneak in there at night and steal back what was stolen from you. But reversed, I feel like this is more an idea of something that's been lost or stolen. And what I'm getting is this is just a perception you're having about this situation. Like this is all the worst fears about if you let this go. And the next card's going to determine what the energy is you're moving into. And this will help us decide, is it something you want to let go of, or do you want to watch the other reading and see if it's something you want to hold on to? Or as you're listening to this, it may become more and more clear. And that's the point of all this, is as we dive into things, as we journal, as we just kind of not pick it apart, but like play with curiosity of what something is, what we think it is, or know about it, it reveals a deeper layer and level. So at any moment, if you get your answer, turn off the reading. Be sure to like it and subscribe. That'd be awesome. But it's a tool, and there's often an energy transmission as I do these readings. to help you remember and help you reclaim your power, your connection to spirit. So my guides are working with your guides, and there's a transmission through my voice and the energy here. All right. So this feels like how you would feel, how you think you're going to feel if you let this go. Now, the next card, what do we got? What's coming out? Boom. Knight of Wands. That's a great card for right here. So this is the energy you're moving into as you let this go. Knight of Wands, fast moving, passionate, excited. And I love this Light Seers deck where she's like drumming. She's, at, it looks like a festival or something. The horse is running wild and free. I always see the horses as like representing freedom. This is someone that's just raw, passionate, enjoying life, vibrant, happy. And so it really shifts all this energy. This is all just like the mind kind of trying to hold on to something or protect itself, really is what it feels like. Like, oh, what will happen? But if I don't do this, then this is going to happen. And they're like, no, like this is going to be a good energy movement forward. Like if you let this go, you're going to maybe feel kind of sad, but the energy is going to support you. It feels like moving forward, you'll have a momentum. We'll see what the next card represents. And the Six of Wands reversed. And so this feels like this is in the position of action is, okay, this comes up a lot is what I'm getting is you're going to let this go and you're going to feel really great. And then there'll be a tendency to want to run out and like change the world or present what you've learned or run right into a new thing. And what I'm getting with the Six of Wands is to like pause, don't rush into anything, but stay in that vibe, really stay with that passionate energy of the wands, the fire, that you don't have to have it all figured out immediately. And this is what we're going to think here. We're like, oh, this is going to be great. I got to know what's going to happen and everything's going to work out. And then you get to this and you're like, well, I still feel good. And I'm vibing the energy, but why is nothing happening yet? What's going on? This feels weird. And so don't succumb to that, just stay with the vibe rather than falling into this here, which you're not because this is the wands. And we'll see what the next card comes out. And this is your environment, the Nine of Pentacles. And so I read this as like the garden, the situation. I'm getting like, watch your health. I'm getting the words like, yeah, like take care of your health, like more self-care and not like the kind that isolates you from people or bypasses, but like, you're not going to have that same situation before. And this is what you're concerned about here is that you're going to start to feel maybe lonely or lost or feel not as resourceful. And this feels like just a perception, like that you have what you need and you're going to be fine, but it may not feel like that. You may perceive it as differently, but it feels like your environment's going to be supportive as long as you can be in it rather than think about it, if that makes sense. Because again, this is the pentacles. Like over here, this is the emotions, the thoughts, so the emotions, the Five of Cups. Same here, the Knight of Cups. And then the thoughts of the swords, Seven of Pentacles. This is like, I would read this as, what you wanted to attain, but wasn't happening. And over here, there's kind of that similar type vibe, but it's still, it's a Nine of Pentacles now rather than a Seven. So it's actually looking better. So I'm already seeing that this may be a good course. Let's see what the next card represents. And it says in this position, what it is you need to know. So that's my favorite question to ask. And with the moon is the watery depths, the emotions, the things that come to the surface, the things buried deep, the unconscious stuff. And with it upright, what I'm getting is the words that come to me, and I know this doesn't really represent the card, but it does in a way. The revealing of your magic. And I see, like her looking up and like these sparkles coming out of her hands and up and out to the moon. And it really feels like a deep dive with what you do here. You have a choice. You can fall into like, woe is me. How come the things don't work out for me? How come I don't have this? How come I don't have that? And really feel and be with what that brings up. And it's going to reveal your magic. It's going to reveal how powerful you are and what's been blocking and obstructing you here. Like this is all the blocks. This is all the barriers and the things that keep you kind of stuck, and you break out of that. And things don't work out exactly as you hope, because they rarely ever do for any of us. And you have a choice point. Like, do I succumb to like, I'm going to be living on the street, or nobody loves me, or nobody's with me, or whatever it is? Or do you like sit with that part that feels that way and believes that and love it unconditionally? And you bring it into union. You tame the wild part with this higher knowing. Neither is better than the other. We need both. And then with the moon reflecting the power that you are, you fully start to attain it. And this is something that I've had to do more and more recently, is to make the choice. I know there's things that don't really help me, but they help me temporarily. And then the things that are harder to do, like sit and meditate for a half hour, after that first 20 minutes is grueling sometimes. And in that last 10 minutes, so much was revealed energetically. What's in my field? What did I pick up that day when I was out in public? What thoughts are running through my head? What programs from a movie or something I saw that day, I just easily breathe away, pull out of my body energetically, to sit in presence and allow what you feel here to be loved and accepted, not talked to, not consoled, even just to breathe and be with it. And my favorite way to work with that energy, whatever comes up, is to just say, I'm here, and to just keep breathing. Like, I'm here. I hear you. I'm here. And as you breathe, that part feels more comfortable with your presence. And that part starts to dissolve or come more into an awareness of what it didn't see clearly. So this all looks really good. This looks like this decision is going to help move you into a new trajectory, and there'll still be a choice. There'll be some challenges, but it's going to force you to really embody the depth of your being, like really changing and transforming this card of depression and sadness that maybe you've gone through your whole life because of your childhood or the things that happened. Even in other lifetimes, it's hard to source it. And I would invite you to let go of what you think happened, because sometimes it was another lifetime that's creating this too. And this is what will be revealed here, as your magic will be revealed here. And you'll see clearly just how beautiful and strong and powerful you truly are, that being reclaimed. And so if this is letting go of a relationship or a job or what, be kind. You don't have to like cut it off entirely, but like, it feels like this is a good avenue, is to trust, to follow the rabbit down the hole and, go into wonderland that isn't what you hoped it would be. And then ultimately finding your power from deep within, which is what we all do. And everyone's heard that until they actually do it. And then it's like, oh, that's what they need. All right. So potential final outcome, 3 of Swords. So that's interesting with all that, because, the 3 of Swords in this card, in this deck, the Light Seers, always looks really intense. But what I'm getting with this is the swords are like thoughts that come in and stab at our heart. And so that's like with the 7 of Swords, is we can have it all and be totally blissed out and happy. And then a thought will come in and drive a wedge between that happiness. So how I would read this for this whole situation is, have me focus right here. So like, remember what it feels like to trust your guidance, not this reading, but your own inner guidance. Like, this reading isn't convincing you of anything. You already know deep inside what you wanted to do, and remember what that feels like to embody that and feel that. And then when it comes time, when these thoughts start creeping in again, to remember to let it go. And so this feels like, okay, so I actually consulted my notes on this because um, the Rider Waite deck I read differently than this one. I mean, it's all the same, but this one, was kind of eluding me. And so the meaning in the book would say painful separation, loss, heartbreak, an opportunity to heal, shadows coming to light, finding inspiration again. So I think this is a continuation of what you're working on here. Is, this situation was helpful, but it felt a little like codependent. It felt a little like it wasn't fully getting you where you wanted to go. And when you let it go, you're going to get that vibe. You're going to catch that energy of where you want to go, and you're going to feel it. And that's going to sustain you through all this. This is more of the shadow work. So this will be working with the emotions that come up. Yeah, it's really rich and deep. And so, this is like why I got the vibe I'm going to manifest all these things as a result of it. And it doesn't quite work out the way you hope. And then it's like, well, the resources, the loneliness, like, it's all, you have community, you have resources, but it's not going to feel like it. And that's going to lead to this like choice point really right here that makes you dive it deep into the subconscious and find your power and your magic in balancing the extremes of what these two represent. Like, this can be like the spiritual bypassing. Like, I'm in the vibe. Why is it not manifesting? Why am I not manifesting what I want? And then really having to connect to what Jesus had to connect to. Like, I'm not King Solomon. Like, Jesus probably would prefer to been King Solomon, resources, kingdom, all that. Maybe I could say Gandhi or someone else, but they surrendered and knew that that wasn't their path. They weren't to have all those things, or they chose to follow their inner guidance. So I'm not saying that's true for you, but they surrendered and they found their power, and then those things could show up if they so choose. But they chose to continue to be of service, and that's not saying we all have to do that. That was their path, but it feels like this is going to force you to go deep within and then find your true source of power. And then that's going to require the reclaiming of the mind and continuing to do the shadow work so that this doesn't revisit where you're doing this for yourself now. Whereas this felt like there was a level of hand holding. Now you're really stepping into it and owning it. Hopefully that was helpful. This one's interesting because it's potentials and possibilities. So it's what can come in and split or separate, what can come in and interrupt your heart connection, like here. And so watching the thoughts that come in and really just remembering how powerful you are and how magic you are. And the rest is just the old thoughts and programming, the old ideas of who you thought you were and what you thought you needed. And let me show you the Rider Waite Three of Swords, which is less intense. Yeah, here it is, which is really just the heart with the three swords. And to me, it's interesting. It's like I brought the energy of the other reading in here for this one, because it feels like out of the two, this was the one that was really going to help solidify the decision. I don't even know if I'm going to post this or not. Maybe it's too convoluted. But um, there was not to get too personal, but an ex-girlfriend of mine that I was really, really in love with, and very psychic, very gifted, amazing healer. And she she struggled with this, like these thoughts that would come in and trying to figure out what was wrong with her when there was really nothing wrong with her, and really just learning to love herself. And that's really what I'm getting with this, and what I see with the Three of Swords is that which blocks us from loving ourselves. And it's just thoughts. It's not real. And that's how you really take your power back, is realizing the thoughts aren't real that say you're less than or not good enough or unlovable, that it's all an illusion. It's not real. So hopefully this was helpful. It looks like letting go is a catalyst for change and transformation in a major way, and it won't be easy. So let me pull a portal card. Actually, let me do 2 cards on what anything further you need to know. Yeah, I'm getting the Knight of Swords, like swift, fast moving action, and then the Ten of Swords reversed. Is like, I would read this as you're able to navigate any and all situations that come at you. Like, yeah, so yeah, this is like resisting the inevitable, um, not wanting to lose something. But with the Knight of Swords there, it's like you're triumphing over that fear of letting go and being codependent. It feels like letting go of codependence, whether it's a relationship or a therapist or a coach. It's like sometimes stuff goes on too long and you can feel it, you know it, but the reason you stay in it is because of these things. Like, it's more comfortable to stay here than to move into this and face it and work through it. And it's not going to be easy, but that, that's your energy. That's your power. The Knight of Swords can charge into any situation, and with the momentum and the strength to get it done. And we're going to pull a portal card from the Sacred Forest Oracle, which I love. These like portals of energy will assist you no matter what your decision is. You want to watch the other reading, maybe that'll bring some more insights, because if I said it on this reading or the other one, that is, I'm talking, there's an energy transmission and activation. My guys, greater clarity can just present itself, even beyond the reading. Just as we work through these things, stuff is revealed. So let's see what card comes through, what energy is going to assist you. Wise Woman of the Grove, Grace. That's beautiful. I'm going to read this one to you. It's the final paragraph. The spirit of the wise woman of the grove says, you can relax and let go. Your path is guided. Spiritual nobility is growing within you. The spirit of grace is softly unfolding in your life. Kindly honor the truth of others, even if you don't agree or if you know better. The Creator knows the truth. Wow. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but like, to let go and trust and embody your power. And you have that warrior strength, and the warrior isn't about dominating or destroying. A lot of times is just hold your ground and being clear in your decisions. And I see you doing really well with that. So yeah, remember this card, remember this energy as you step into a new life. If you decide to let go of whatever this was, that you're going to do just fine. That, yeah, even though it's not going to feel like it, it's not going to look like it, and your mind's damn sure not going to like it, but you are your heart that can never be destroyed. You are your spirit. I mean, yeah, You, you got this. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. I want to say I love you. You're doing awesome. Aloha.